Okay, hello everyone and welcome back to World of Tanks Blitz, and we're here going to be doing a review today of the Valentine II. Recording this view during the lockdown of coronavirus because what else is there to do? So, yes, the Valentine II, Tier 4 premium Russian light tank, even though the armour is more that of a medium tank, as any of you who've played the Valentine or Valentine II will know. And yeah, it's an interesting premium light tank because it only ever sees its own or lower tiers, so long as you're not platooned up, and that's because of the gun. And we'll get to the gun soon enough. So, overall, looking at it here, 470 HP, which for a light tank at tier 4, it's alright. We compare it to the M5A1 Stuart, which has got 490. The AMX is a medium in this game, which is good. I don't have any other. I don't actually have any other light tanks in tier 4 here. So let's have a look. Since everything was purged, there's not really much at tier 4 light tanks to compare this to. The Chihi is a medium, and that's the only one there. Let's have a look at the EU. The 14 TP, yeah, medium for the Largo. So yeah. In comparison, it's not too bad, really. I mean, it's what, 10 or 20 HP less. It's not that much less than the AC1, the Sentinel, which has got 530. The A32 has got 530, being a medium. I think this has got 530, so it's not too bad. It's 50 below a medium. It's not too shabby. The armour as well is also pretty good. 65 all round for the turret and 60 all round for the hull, which compares it quite favourably compared to something like the AC1, which has got only 50 on the turret, 35 at the side. The hull has got 65 still, but then it's 50 and 65, so it's got better all round protection in comparison to the Sentinel, and it's also a whole load shorter. If you look at it, there is where the line is, just about in line with the Twister Cup brand there, and bam, you now can't see it with the Sentinel. And indeed, there's the A32. Let's have a look at the Matilda. It's also taller. The M5 Stuart as well. Yeah, it's a rather short light tank for tier 4, which is quite good. And yeah, as we said, the armour itself is also pretty good. I mean, the Matilda sort of has the trump for armour all round, with a very strong frontal turret and also a very strong hull. But the Valentine probably comes in a pretty close second. However, the problem is that it's all sort of flat here, and the lower glacis. The sides as well are also pretty flat. The rear is actually sloped at a decent way there. And as for the turret is still fairly rounded, fairly circular, which is quite useful, and it's quite good. So yeah, it's an all-round very strong light tank, which is not something you usually see in comparison to like the M5 Stuart, which has only got 30 frontal hull and weirdly stronger side and rear armour. Not too sure why. The turret is of course 50 at the front of this, but that's still not as much as the Valentine, which is sloped. So overall, very strong for a light tank, very uncharacteristic. For a light tank, it's got the usual sort of view range. Yeah, no one really cares about that. As for mobility, this is where the light tank idea sort of breaks down, because it's not very fast as a light tank. 32 kilometers top forwards, 12 reverse, 26 average, in comparison to an actual light tank, the M5A1, which has got 37 average top speed, which is faster than the Valentine's top speed, and its theoretical top speed is 52 on flat good roads or downhill on a good road. And yeah, power to weight is 21.5 in comparison to the Valentine, which is 10.2, weighs 15 tons, and the engine is only 160 horsepower with this British engine. So yeah, not too good at all in the manoeuvrability, and that's because of the British tank doctrine, which World of Tanks doesn't take into account. They brand the Valentine as a light tank instead of a cruiser tank, infantry support tank, which was the British thing, whereas other countries had light, medium, heavy tanks, France, Germany, Italy, you could argue, America. Britain had infantry support, which are strong, heavily armoured with meh guns, which is Churchill, Valentine, Matilda. Then you've got cruiser tanks, which are faster, far more mobile, with better guns, however not as good armour, which are your things like your Crusader, your Covenanter and your Cromwell, those sorts of things. And that's sort of why the Valentine isn't really a light tank. It's more of a sort of medium tank classified as a light, which it would do better if it was classified as a medium. But anyway, so that's for everything except for the gun, and I'm holding off on the gun because most people will probably know this, but if you don't, the gun is not very good, to put it mildly. It's really not a very good gun. But overall, rather slow, rather unmanoeuvrable, however, very strong armour, and it only sees tier 4s, so long as you're not tiered up with someone else who isn't in a Valentine II, or a Panzer B2 as well, I think. I think this also only sees its own tier, again, probably because of the terrible gun. But yeah, overall, very strong tank, only sees tier 4s and tier 3s. But then we come to the gun, and the gun is very, very bad. It's a Russian 45mm, it's the 20 KL, mod 1939, and this gun you see on, let's have a look at some tier 2 tanks. Have I got any Russians? No, I think I've got the T-26 at tier 1. Let's have a look at the T-26, here we go. The gun, that's a B3A, that's a 20k, so it's a gun like this but worse. If we compare it to this has got 51 average pen with AP and 40 damage. With its 20k 45, I think this is still 45mm. And this is a tier 1 tank. We now go up to the tier 4 Valentine II, and we have a look. 54. 54 average penetration with armour piercing. 88 with APCR and 13 with HG. Only does the same 40 damage, 35 with AP, CR and 75 with HG. A tier 1 tank has got arguably a better gun than a tier 4 light tank. This is 4 tiers up from the tier 1 T-26. And this is apparently still a tier 4 gun, but it only has 54 average pen. It's not very good at all. In comparison to the A32's gun, it's got 85 average pen with armour piercing. The Matilda's got, what, 130 or something with this Little John adapter. There you go, 89 with this Little John adapter 2-pounder. The M5A1 Stuart has got a pretty decent gun with 81 average pen. Even the AMX-40 has got 74. This thing, that thing, I think, is probably the only thing which has also got a tier 2 gun. It's still got 84 average pen. This has got 54, and it's meant to get through things like Matildas and Panzer B2s and B1s and AMX-40s. Even some of the more heavily armoured tier 3s will give you problems. The Panzer S35 is a tier 3 medium tank, and it will give you problems. The Cruiser 4, this little extra armour will stop your round from penetrating this actual turret. And it's a tier 3 medium tank, but still kind of a light tank. I don't know why this is a medium and this is a light, but anyway. Yeah, the gun is absolutely terrible. So overall, I do like the tank. I do want to say I enjoy driving this particular Valentine in comparison to the old Valentine. Is that even still in the tech tree? It's not. They've removed it. Good. Yeah. I still enjoy driving this tank, but the gun is terrible. Don't get me wrong. It's got good armour, meh manoeuvrability, and a bad gun. That's the 3 points you need to take away so far. And yeah. The actual other stats of the gun, let me just go over them. 2.5 second aim time, pretty quick. 0.36 accuracy, meh. DPM, blah blah blah. Reload time, 3.3 seconds, which is alright. 25 gun elevation, 10 gun depression. That's pretty good for a Russian tank. Russian tanks aren't known for their depression, nor are Chinese tanks. But still, yeah, the other stats of the gun are good, and it would be a far better gun if it just had that extra penetration. But no, to make it fair and balanced, it has terrible penetration. So there's all that. As for consumables, repair, first aid, fire, yeah. Engine power boost, 20% engine power for 15 seconds. Adrenaline, which is not a bad idea on this tank, the same as the Matilda and those other fast-firing, low-caliber guns at sort of this tier. Adrenaline is not too bad of an idea, 20% of load speed and 10% chance of damaging enemy vehicle modules. And then you've got your multi-purpose, which is those three rolled into one. So there's all that. As for camo, you can put on whatever camo you want. It is not restricted. You carry a bunch of ammo. As you can see, you can load it up with as much as you want. I suggest carrying around at least a good amount of APCR for when you come up against things like Matildas, the French tanks, Hetzers, those sorts of things. I'd suggest carrying around some APCR because you'll need it. Don't bother with HE. You're never going to need it, because I'm fairly certain even an Alexo will be able to stop this ammo for high explosives. So AP and APCR is all you need. Carry around a good supply of APCR, but otherwise you can do it with just AP if you're very, very lucky. As for equipment, calibrated shells, yep, good idea, otherwise you'd only have 51 average pen. It's not that much more, but still. You could always go with a gun rammer, get the reload time down. It is your choice. I might actually go with gun rammer, but I don't know, I might stick with calibrated shells. Improved modules for the extra track and ammo rack durability. You're not going to be ramming anything, so you don't need defense system. Sorry, that's it used to do ramming, but it doesn't anymore. It used to, but it doesn't. So, yeah, this is only engine damage and crew injury and ammo actually exploding. This is 20% of damage from ramming. Now they've changed it over for some reason. It never used to be, but they've changed it over. I don't know why. But still, improved modules, ammo rack durability, fuel tank and track. That's all more useful than just engine and crew. And then that only stops your ammo rack from actually blowing up once it's been damaged already. So this is better to stop it being damaged in the first place. So I'd still say improved modules, even though they have changed it over a little bit. Then you're going to want coated optics, because you're not a light tank in the same sense as higher tier light tanks. You are a medium tank for all intents and purposes, so improved coated optics is what you're going to want. I still call it coated optics, yes. Enhanced gun lane drive you don't need. 2.5 second aim time is very good, so I'd say supercharge if you're going to go for anything. Let's just bam, have supercharge on there. Enhanced armor or improved assembly. Improved assembly will get you up to just under 500 HP, but otherwise enhanced armor, either one of them is a good idea, honestly. Enhanced armor will get your pretty good armor up even better, so either one, like I said. You don't really need it. It's got pretty good hull traverse actually. If we have a look at it, that's pretty good hull traverse for what it is. Hull and turret traverse are above 40 degrees per second. That's pretty quick in comparison to something like the Matilda, which has got only a 31 degrees per second turret and 36 degrees per second hull traverse. This has got very good other traversal rates, so you don't need improved control. So I'd say engine accelerator, so that you can get better power to weight and a slight buff to hull traverse, but better engine power, most importantly. And then refined gun, if you're going to go for anything, refined gun. You don't really need vert stabs. I'd say refined gun. And then enhanced tracks or toolbox is really either one, really. And then the same with whatever the hell those two things are. So overall, it's a pretty good light tank. I do like it as a light tank. It's a fun enough tier 4 tank to drive around in, even if the gun is god awful. However, yeah, it's still a pretty good tank for going around in. So I'd say pick it up if you want. Yeah, not the most OP thing at this tier. However, still a very good tank. So yeah, thank you all for watching and goodbye.